You went undercover as a lovesick simp to help your bestie chase her man, only to get pinned against the wall by the CEO's best friend and kissed until your knees went weak. Even when you block him and run, he still shows up at your door with red-rimmed eyes, and he literally interrogates you about every single finger that ever touched a male model's abs. And just when you think it was all one big act, he's holding up a diamond ring while drones light up the sky with fireworks for you over the entire city. To help my best friend chase the domineering CEO she'd been secretly in love with, I pretended to go after his good buddy instead and checked in with him every day about the CEO's whereabouts. People kindly gave the two of us a joint nickname, the Simp Sisters. I didn't take it to heart. For my bestie, a little mud on my name was nothing. Later, when the CEO's first love came back from overseas, my friend was so crushed she decided to give up. I promptly blocked the CEO's buddy too, swearing we would never appear under the same sky again. Who knew that untouchable high mountain flower would corner me in some hallway, eyes red, kissing me so hard my legs almost gave out? Tell me one time I didn't respond to you. One time, I turned you down. His voice was low and rough at my ear. There's a price for playing with someone's feelings, sweetheart. My best friend Julia had been chasing Jason for 2 whole months, and the progress bar was still stuck at 0. Sending him food on the daily, showing up at every drinking party, bringing water when it was sunny and an umbrella when it rained. Wherever Jason was, there she was. But Jason never budged. Lately, he'd even started avoiding her. Weren't you guys childhood sweethearts or something? I finally couldn't help asking. You don't get it. Rich people play messy. Julia took the hit straight to the heart. I'd just finished rolling my eyes and was about to go back to working on my proposal when she suddenly grabbed my hand, all excited. Jenny, wherever Jason is, Luke will definitely be there. If you go flirt with Luke, then I'll know where Jason is. Princess, are you insane? Who am I to flirt with him? Luke was a famously untouchable high mountain flower born into a family of ruthless CEOs. And me? I'm just a corporate drone making $13K a month with a boss who refuses to give me a raise. Relax. If they bully you, I'll just buy a trending topic and accuse them of picking on the poor. That kind of thing gets people dragged so fast these days. Besides, Luke is known for having a good temper. He won't do anything to you. Gee, thanks. Under Julia's relentless pep talk, I took the initiative and added Luke on WeChat. From a simple, hello, to, I made some soup, can I bring you a little? I carefully packaged myself into a legendary simp just like Julia. I even out-simped her utterly attentive, attitude impeccable, and her strategy actually worked. Every time I asked Luke where he was, what he was doing, and got the intel, Jason was usually right there too. Mr. Luke, where are you? I made some chicken soup for you. Jason's on a business trip. He'll be back next Monday. It was like he knew exactly what I was about to ask, so Luke just went straight for it. See? I told you were way too obvious. A seasoned simp always knows when to pull back to move forward, lower their presence so they still have a shot at landing a critical hit. I thought running into them 6 times out of 10 was still statistically reasonable. Julia, on the other hand, managed to accidentally run into him every single time. The second she saw him, she smiled like she'd just robbed a bank. What a coincidence, Jason, you're here too. You're even hiding from me overseas now. Julia's face fell. Jenny, do you think Jason really hates me that much? She looked so sad I couldn't bring myself to say what I was really thinking. Of course not. He's a big CEO. He's actually busy. Think about that tiny boss we deep dived on last week. His company's small as hell and he's still out on business trips every day. Who knows? Maybe Jason really was on a business trip. As long as I kept Luke on the hook, there was still hope. For the sake of my best friend's happily ever after, I grabbed my lunchbox and headed out again. As expected, I got blocked downstairs at his company. The front desk girl kept her smile in place while her words slipped out through her teeth. What is this? The 5th time now! Girls these days will do anything to marry rich. Seriously. Mr. Luke doesn't even look at her. Hi, Mr. Luke. I've left the chicken soup downstairs for you, I said into my phone, leaving him a voicemail like usual before getting ready to make a tactful exit. I'd barely made it to the door when I ran straight into him coming out of the elevator. Jennifer. It was the first time he'd actually said my name. My heart skipped a beat. Mr. Luke, hi. I laughed awkwardly. What a coincidence, haha. Luke sighed and glanced toward the direction of the chicken soup. Didn't I tell you Jason's abroad? You've misunderstood. I really just wanted to bring you some soup. Before was all just coincidence. Oh? He raised a brow, eyes sharp and curious. Really, I honestly just wanted to pursue you. The words tumbled out, and my face flamed. But for the sake of Julia's grand romance campaign, I forced myself to keep going. Julia was really just keeping me company. She's my strategist, Strategists have to get on the field and coach in person, you know? Haha. For a split second, I actually felt grateful. Grateful that this particular CEO best friend had a good temper and usually didn't make things hard for people. If it were any other domineering CEO, I'd probably have been thrown out onto the sidewalk already. Luke let out a quiet huff of laughter, his pale lips curving just a little. So I'll just stop bothering you now. Seeing that he didn't say anything else, I bowed and prepared to flee. He suddenly caught my arm, his warm breath brushing my ear and making my heart stutter. For someone chasing me, you're awfully polite. Always calling me sir. My brain exploded. Damn this pathetic, bone-deep submissiveness I'd picked up from years of being the agency side. Ever since Luke teased me at Dawson Group and I bolted in disgrace, I'd downgraded myself to a simp who only operated online. First, Jason wasn't around. Second, that last time had been too mortifying. For an ISTJ, that's basically public execution. Simp rule number 1. As long as the person you're simping for hasn't dragged you to your face again, it doesn't officially count as a failure. I started learning from my mistakes, swore off calling him sir, and even dared to try a non-simp nickname. Shang? Luke replied in a second with just a question mark. Great. Why does he read messages so fast? I'd sent it out with my heart in my throat, finger hovering over the recall button. I wasn't worried about anything else. I just didn't want them thinking I was crazy and talking behind my back like, that psycho, right? I hurriedly followed up with, take care of yourself, don't stay up late working, then closed the chat. No response from his side. Perfect. Very on-brand CEO behavior. Jason still wasn't back, and Julia was bored out of her mind, so she dragged me out shopping with her. Considering I always managed to freeload at least one luxury item off her every time, I reluctantly dropped my work and rushed out the door. While I was mentally going through what I could milk out of Julia today, she suddenly elbowed me. Hey! Hey! Luke. I followed her gaze and saw Luke turned slightly toward the girl beside him, talking with a soft smile on his face. It was a nice picture. I just had no idea why it stung a little to look at. Jenny, I'm so sorry. I really didn't know. Julia looked guilty. He really never had a girlfriend before this. It's fine. I patted her arm. I was only pretending to chase him anyway. You really don't feel anything for him? It's just that he's actually pretty nice. So when I pushed you to get close to him, I was kind of trying to match you two up. Okay, stop. I cut her off before she could keep going. I believe in equal opportunity hatred for every last capitalist CEO. Maybe we were making too much noise. Because Luke suddenly looked over at us. For a split second, I actually felt nervous and guilty, like someone had caught me red-handed doing something. I grabbed Julia and hurried off. After that little scene, I wasn't in the mood to keep shopping, so I used my unfinished proposal as an excuse, said goodbye to Julia, and left. While I was waiting for my ride, I suddenly saw Luke walking toward me from a distance. Remembering the girl from just now, I panicked at the thought he might assume I was lingering on purpose, and I turned and quickened my pace, trying to escape. Honestly, getting called a simp out on the street or staying as far away from him as possible were both equally humiliating options. I work in PR if someone snapped a photo of this and it hit the trending topics, and those media folks I know started posting about it in their moments, how would I ever show my face again? Jennifer, stop! Luke's voice rang out behind me. I froze mid-step. Mr. Luke, what a coincidence! Ha ha! He strode up to me. What are you running for? Huh? I wasn't running. I gave a weak laugh, not daring to meet his eyes. Luke stayed quiet for a long moment. I finally looked up, only to meet a pair of dark eyes full of laughter. What? Not Shang anymore? Back to Mr. Luke? Just like that? Are you only brave behind a keyboard? I was completely speechless. He had no idea how many rounds of mental prep it took for me to send each of those cheesy lines. Just as my face was burning and I had no clue how to respond, my driver called right on cue. My car's here. Bye. Good night. Before he could answer, I dove into the car and slammed the door shut. My already unsettled heartbeat went even crazier when my phone buzzed with a single text. Coward. Something felt different. The day Jason came back, Julia didn't even make it to the airport before she was frozen in place by the exploding hot searches on short video apps. Number The Power of the First Love, and number My Sunshine in Real Life. Publicity stunt. Has to be a stunt. I slapped a hand over the screen. Julia suddenly gave a small laugh, so unlike her usual self. Jenny, let it go. Ever since we were kids, Jason had always been quiet and cold, the type no one dared to approach. But Julia clung to him from childhood to adulthood, and Jason never pushed her away. He'd complain now and then, but he always remembered what she said. During freshman military training, Julia casually mentioned craving osmanthus pastries from the east side of the city, and Jason actually drove across half the city that same night to buy them. Back then, I really did ship the two of them. Even now, their apartments were still across the hall from each other. Their families would joke from time to time that once they grew up, they could just get married right where they stood. But from graduation till now, Jason had never made a move. I thought maybe CEOs had their own pace, or some unspoken trouble, or some hidden rich family secret. Turns out, there was another first love. Scumbag! In the bar booth, the curses got louder and louder. In the end, Julia blocked Jason on the spot. Jenny, remember this. Never let me contact Jason again. Okay. I propped up her near-unconscious body and hauled her outside to get a cab. With her pathetic alcohol tolerance, she still came to drink away her sorrows, truly embarrassing for a rich second gen. And as they say, whatever you fear most comes. And wow, did it come true. I worried all the way about running into Jason, and sure enough, we bumped straight into him at the entrance of her building. Not only Jason, but Luke, too. Sticking to our cuss-out scumbags policy, I immediately slapped a hand over Julia's eyes and prepared to pretend they didn't exist. Why'd she drink this much? Jason frowned, then swooped in and picked Julia up in a princess carry. Give Julia back. I was furious, ready to fight and snatch her back. These delusional princes were insane. Don't like her but still carting her around? What, is this a drama set? Before I could make a move, Luke's arm slid around my waist and held me back. He sighed, almost helpless. Silly girl, aren't you tired carrying her? You can barely stand yourself. His breath brushed against my ear, warm and feather-light, sending a ticklish shiver through me. I suddenly lost momentum. Point is, Jason can't touch Julia. Relax. Nothing will happen. He turned my body to face him, bending down so we were eye level. His expression softened, his voice gentle. Let me walk you home, all right? Ah, yes, the polite, soft-spoken CEO type. Much safer. I thought for a moment, then put on a bright smile and pointed toward Julia's home. No thanks. I'm watching her. When Luke knocked on Julia's door with me in tow, Jason's frown deepened. He shot Luke a look filled with confusion and reproach. Maybe it was the alcohol, but the usual fear I had of CEOs suddenly evaporated, replaced by a bold streak. Don't look at Mr. Luke like that. I stepped into the doorway, taking over the space. Men and women should keep their distance. Julia doesn't need your help, Mr. Jason. Please leave, she insisted. Luke lifted his hands in surrender and reminded me to charge my phone. After shutting the door on them, I walked into the bedroom and found Julia sleeping soundly, a cup of warm water set on her bedside table. Huh, looks like Jason had been here. Definitely can't tell her that. She'd fall back into simp mode immediately, absolutely not letting her repeat her mistakes. At dawn the next morning, the phone vibrating on the nightstand woke me. I poked my head out of the blankets, grabbed it, and answered only to hear a low male voice. Awake? Julia, who'd been lying like a dead body beside me, suddenly rolled over and gave me a pointed, nosy look. I coughed twice for cover. Mr. Luke, do you need something? Come to the door. I brought breakfast. I shot up instantly and fixed myself up. Under Julia's stunned, "What is going on with you?" stare, I went to open the door. Slow down. Put on shoes first. Luke frowned the moment the door opened. Sir, it's the middle of summer, and this whole place has wall-to-wall carpet. What exactly am I supposed to be protecting my feet from? Please consume fewer romance novels. Mr. Luke, Julia's place is fully carpeted, I explained cautiously. He froze for a second, then cleared his throat and handed me the bags. Brought you breakfast. Jason had something to do and left early. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Luke. I accepted it, noticing the tips of his ears had turned red at some point. Wow. Even CEOs blush when embarrassed. I was about to close the door when he suddenly caught my wrist. You don't need to call me Mr. Luke every time, he said softly. Just call me normally. Oh, okay. It wasn't until I was standing at the dining table that it hit me, call him normally? Normally for a CEO is President Luke. Call him by his first name? You're being weird, Julia suddenly said. What's going on with you and Luke? What do you mean what? I ducked my head, avoiding her gaze. He said Jason had to leave early. That means Jason told him to bring breakfast, meaning it was meant for you, and I just got included. Julia's expression dimmed, her smile tinged with bitterness. If I say I've let go, then I really have. You don't have to comfort me. I'm fine. You're spilling half your kanji on the table, you don't look fine. So, are you going to give him the full tragic pursuit arc? Julia took a deep breath, then glared at me. First of all, someone actually has to like me for that to even happen. Second, last night I already wanted to hit you. If you can't comfort people, shut up. And third, ever since you saw Luke with that girl at the mall, I told you to cancel the mission. She leaned closer, eyes sharp. What's wrong with you? You want to taste heartbreak yourself? What the hell kind of nonsense is that? I was genuinely offended. I just hadn't blocked him yet here. I'll do it now. From now on, if they're there, we're not. Maybe to make it up to me, Julia introduced me to several high-quality, handsome guys. I was indeed pleased, but compared to the high mountain flower, something still felt missing. To strengthen my bond with the little brothers, Julia arranged a meetup. Things were going great. The guys were smooth talkers, and their emotional support skills were top tier. Until a few familiar silhouettes suddenly appeared at a nearby booth. My mind blanked. I turned to Julia, and she was just as stunned. Didn't you say this place was classy? And your VIP status guaranteed we wouldn't run into them? I elbowed her. How should I know? I asked around. They were supposed to be at a dinner event tonight. You're not secretly hung up on Jason and did this on purpose, right? I didn't believe her. Let me remind you, I may be a simp, but even simps have dignity. Julia spat at me. Jason won't think I did it on purpose, right? Like I'm playing some hard-to-get routine? Drama queen. Forget it. Let's go. What horrible luck. Julia didn't want Jason thinking she intentionally appeared in front of him, so she tried to flee. When these heiresses actually care about their pride, they refuse to lose on any front. Carlos, take Julia home. After a few rushed instructions, she bolted. One of the guys she'd brought eagerly grabbed my bag. Jenny J, come on, I'll walk you out. He grinned, fresh, energetic youth. Lovely. Sure, let me hit the restroom first. But right as I stepped out of the bathroom, someone grabbed my wrist. A strong pull yanked me into a dim corner and pinned me against the wall. Help! A warm palm clamped over my mouth as a familiar scent closed in. Don't be scared, it's me. Luke, what the hell? Do you have any idea how terrifying this is? My anger surged. For a second, I truly thought I was getting kidnapped into some remote mountain village, never to see the sun again. Luke stared at me, eyes rimmed red, his voice hoarse like a wounded rabbit. WeChat, phone, all blocked. What? Exactly what it sounds like. I suddenly didn't dare look him in the eye. What does that mean? He seized my chin, forcing me to meet his gaze. I kept struggling. Mr. Luke, don't do this. My boyfriend is waiting for me at home. Boyfriend? He let out a short, breathy laugh. The next second, his lips crashed onto mine. Excuse me, my first kiss! I pushed at him with both hands, but his arm tightened at my waist and his other hand held the back of my head, deepening the kiss. By the time he let me breathe, my knees were weak, and I slumped into his arms. His breathing was ragged, too. You started this. His voice brushed my ear, low and dangerous. Sweetheart, there's always a price for playing with someone's feelings. He leaned in again, the air heating, thick with something electric. That night, I went home with a blank mind and swollen lips. Carried by Luke, I didn't remember a single useful detail about whatever he'd said on the phone to the guy who'd been escorting me. But it's fine, I remember now. He told him to leave, that he would take me home. The only reason it resurfaced was because Julia was currently roaring at me with the fury of someone whose hopes in humanity had collapsed. Jennifer, what are you doing? One lovesick idiot between us is enough. Do you really want to become one of the simp sisters like everyone says? Before I could defend myself, she kept going. Did you forget he was out shopping with that girl? My mind went blank. I'd been too busy wallowing in the CEO forcing a kiss drama yesterday to remember that part at all. After analyzing things with Julia, I stared at the chat window I'd apparently unblocked at some point. I'll come pick you up for dinner later, okay? I paused, then shoved him back into my blacklist again. I'll find you someone better. Julia sighed, patting my shoulder. You should worry about Jason first, I muttered, face buried in the table. He and his first love were making hard eyes at the auction, and the whole internet is shipping them. You're rich too, why didn't you go to the auction? Julia slammed my head back onto the table. This is when you're supposed to say, don't cry, bestie. Breakups online. Hiking the Northwest. Emo captions. My breakup. Working overtime. When I finally finished and thought about going out to get drunk, the thought of waking up early for work tomorrow made me obediently head home. Right up until I stepped out of the elevator and saw a figure standing at my door, instant regret. I should have gone drinking. Jennifer. Luke caught up to me, blocking my escape. His eyes were even redder than before, like he might cry any second. Someone explained to me how you were kissing me last night, but I'm on your blacklist again today? I tried pulling my hand back, but he held tighter. I avoided his eyes and cleared my throat. My boyfriend won't allow it. Yesterday, say one more stupid thing and I'll kiss your mouth, swollen. He cut me off. Did you forget who answered his call last night? Crap. I did forget. If there's a problem, we're supposed to talk about it, right? He wrapped his arms around me, clearly refusing to let go until we sorted things out. Talk, talk, talk. Nothing stresses me out more than bosses saying, let's communicate. You don't even like me. And anyway, don't you have a girlfriend? I decided to go all in. That day you were walking around with that pretty girl. Julia and I saw you. Classic CEO behavior. The richer they are, the messier they play. And somehow he was acting like I was the one in the wrong. Luke blinked, then let out a soft laugh and rubbed the top of my head. That was my cousin. She's lived abroad for years. Almost no one here knows her. Huh? A giant misunderstanding? My brain short-circuited, heat crawling up my neck. Embarrassing, actually. So you blocked me twice over that? Well, technically. He flicked my forehead. And when did I ever say I didn't like you? Then why let the front desk block me? Is that some secret CEO hobby? Before I could argue, he continued as if reading my mind. I just hadn't had time to notify them. And every time you brought something, didn't I always go downstairs to get it myself? My breath caught again. Okay, maybe I was a little love-brained. Don't block me again, okay? He pressed a soft kiss to my ear. Next time you're unsure, ask me. I really like you. I've liked you for a long time. Back then, Jennifer was always by Julia's side, bright, bold, too dazzling to look away from. At first, Luke found it strange. A heiress like Julia suddenly attached at the hip to a very normal girl? Growing up in a wealthy family taught him to judge everything by interest first. He assumed maybe Jennifer wanted something from Julia. Until one day at the hospital, he saw Jennifer hooked to an IV on one arm while typing a proposal with the other, brushing off Julia's fussing over the phone. Don't. Our crappy company doesn't deserve backdoor favors. I'm fine here. Living my best life. Hehe. Oh, remember to bring my laptop charger. Later, during Julia's most intense chasing Jason period, he saw Jennifer around a lot. But she never once spoke to Jason, or him, or anyone in their circle. Like an NPC finished the task connected to Julia and vanish. Luke started paying attention. Her typing away in a bar booth pretending to, accidentally, meet Jason. Complaining about work 1 second, soothing a coworker the next. Befriending hotel staff to gather gossip, joking with friends about wanting to become the kept mistress of a rich man so she'd never have to work again. He saw a different world through her messy, alive, fun. If he were with her, life might actually be interesting. That thought stayed buried until the day Jennifer added his WeChat on her own. Even though he immediately saw she was only doing it for Julia, he didn't mind, not even a little. I didn't dare tell Julia I was seeing Luke. I kept it all undercover, mostly because I didn't want to hurt her. But I wasn't some love-struck idiot forgetting her existence. I still planned to investigate Jason from the inside. Meanwhile, I worried Julia would catch me and Luke together. But before she could, the CEO's mother caught me first. Miss Jennifer. The elegant lady across from me in the cafe smiled politely, clearly about to begin the classic rich mother speech. I was speechless. I mean, what kind of romance is this? We've barely been together 2 days, and she's already here to break us up? At least let me enjoy the perks a little longer. I hadn't even kissed him that much yet. Honestly, I'm getting the short end here. Maybe we should sit down as 3 parties and discuss this. I cut in before she could continue. Technically speaking, he chased me. I wasn't about to take the fall alone. It's like being caught for early puppy love. Why talk to my parents first? What kind of logic is that? You misunderstand. The lady waved her hands quickly. I'm not here to offer you $5 million to stay away from my son. Huh? I actually wanted to talk to you about him. She said she hated arranged marriages, fake, cold, mechanical people slotted like parts to keep the system efficient. She really disliked Luke's father and, by extension, disliked her own son. But he's a good boy, polite, accomplished, a truly good young man. But all that is because he spent his whole life trying to please his parents. Because his parents hated each other so much, they barely wanted to acknowledge him, even when they hurled vicious words at each other with him in the room. He's terrified of arguments, or arguing with anyone, she sighed. He doesn't dare lose his temper at home. If he does, both his parents gang up on him. I never imagined he grew up in such a home. Isn't a gentle person usually from a warm family? I'm here today first to give my blessing, and second to beg you to take care of him. His childhood was a little bitter, she gave a tired smile. But if I could do it over, I'm not sure I'd change. So consider this my one attempt at being a real mother. From him onward, the whole arranged marriage nonsense ends. When I left the cafe, I suddenly just wanted to see him. I rushed to Dawson Group and waited in his office, feeling weirdly soft. My poor CEO boyfriend with a tragic childhood arc. How did a sweet romance CEO story end up with this plot twist? Sweetheart, what's wrong? He closed the door behind him after his meeting. I ran straight into his arms without a word. What's wrong? He hugged me back, voice gentle. I shook my head. Someone bullied you? Are you sick? No, I mumbled. If you don't tell me, how am I supposed to comfort you, silly girl? He ruffled my hair and bent down to meet my eyes. Your mom just talked to me, I whispered. Luke's expression cooled. What did she want? I repeated everything she'd said, then hugged him like some overzealous guardian angel. Why are you so nice to everyone? Show them how scary CEOs can really be. He let out a helpless laugh. So that's why you're being so sweet all of a sudden. Don't listen to her. Maybe when I was a kid, I cared. But not now. She exaggerates everything. Ugh, my heart overflowed even more. My kind, morally upstanding CEO boyfriend. I hugged him tighter, and maybe slid my hands over his abs. Felt like at least 6, maybe 8. What are you doing? He murmured, voice low. Where are those hands going? I narrowed my eyes mischievously and blew a breath into his ear. Luke's breathing faltered. Then he practically devoured my lips, kissing like a man possessed. Just as things got heated, a sudden knock snapped my brain back online. Someone's here! Luke paused, desire still burning in his eyes, then dipped down to kiss me again, slow, lingering. Someone's here! I gasped, pushing at him. He looked wounded. Coward. You're the coward. If someone filmed this and spread it in every gossip group, guess who'd be the coward then? CEOs who don't understand PR are terrifying. I'm not feeling well. I took antibiotics. I really can't go. On the phone, Julia inhaled sharply. Jennifer, that is the 3rd time you've rejected me. If you're not sitting in that booth in an hour, I'm coming to slap you. God, cheating is exhausting, always hiding from someone. When I arrived, Julia crossed her arms and scanned me. You've been acting weird. Weird? How? As long as I spoke loudly enough, I sounded confident. You're avoiding me, she said, moving closer. What did you do that you can't let me find out? Nothing, just busy lately. Damn it. When will this guilty life sentence end? Julia scoffed. Sure. Let's see what surprise I brought today. Oh dear God. A soft, boyish, pure-faced male model? I'm rich, Julia declared proudly. Jenny, tonight you do whatever you want. Why didn't she arrange this kind of treat earlier? Why wait until I actually have morals to uphold? To keep Julia from getting suspicious, I forced myself to act just like before, carefree and unbothered. We played drinking games with the boys, guessed riddles, chatted, laughed, drank. Maybe Julia was too traumatized, because she suddenly went down the line of male models touching every single set of abs. I nearly saluted her courage, but honestly, she looked thrilled. Come on, Jenny! Julia turned on her camera, ready to film my turn. After silently chanting I'm sorry 3 times, I put my hand on the first set of abs for barely 2 seconds when a shadow fell over us. Jason? I yelped. Julia, Jason! Jason's eyes landed on the boy whose hand was on her waist, his gaze freezing over. Julia, really grown some guts, haven't you? Julia's mouth, loaded with venom, fired back instantly because she is who she is. Mind your own business, bro. Quit pretending you're some CEO with that CEO catchphrase nonsense. I've always had guts. More than you'll ever know. Jason didn't bother arguing. He stepped through the crowd, hoisted her over his shoulder, and walked off. Are you insane? Julia kicked and flailed. Jenny, help me. Put her down. I signaled the boys to block Jason. I'm calling the police. What is wrong with you? Ignoring the law, huh? I'll upload this on Douyin and make sure you trend for all the wrong reasons. Believe me. Jason sighed. You never shut up. How does Luke stand you? Excuse me? Why am I catching strays? What does that mean? Julia caught the implication, narrowing her eyes. Jennifer? Shut up. Jason pinned her struggling body down. Freak, I yelled. How could anyone like a CEO who verbally attacks people on impulse? I'll put you online and… Before I could finish, Jason looked past me. Control your wife. I turned instinctively. Luke stood there, staring straight at me. Expression unreadable. Huh? Julia kept squirming. Jennifer, what wife? Jason, let me go. God, even now she wouldn't put the gossip down. Shut up. We'll settle this when we're home. Jason muttered, carrying her off. I swallowed. Julia insisted I come. Go home. On the way, I stole glances at him. He stared ahead, jaw tight. I can explain. We'll talk at home. Damn. The classic "we'll talk at home" shut down. The moment we stepped inside, he slammed me against the wall. The kiss that followed was more unhinged than any before it, like a beast finally let out of its cage. Which hand touched them? His voice was wrecked. Huh? I blinked. He let out a breathy, incredulous laugh. The male models. The abs. Which hand did you use? The red at the corners of his eyes gleamed like something dangerous in the dark. Before I could answer, he was on me again, swallowing all thought, all breath. Slowly, the air shifted. A cold hand slipped under my shirt, tracing lightly, testing my reaction. Luke, I stammered, voice shaking. That's not what you called me before, sweetheart. His voice was low, rough, full of want. I remembered calling him Xiang Xiang earlier. My face burned so hot, I felt feverish. His hand continued kneading my chest through my bra as he leaned to my ear, whispering in a voice meant only for me. If you don't say it, you might regret it. Tears stung my eyes. Xiang, Xiang Xiang. His eyes darkened, pupils blown, staring at me like prey. The second he laid me down on the couch, I curled up instinctively. I'm not ready. Relax, sweetheart. I won't hurt you. He gathered me gently, kissing my lips, then my collarbone. Heat consumed me piece by piece. I sank into it until a sharp, tearing pain snapped me back. It hurts. Didn't he say he'd be gentle? This wasn't gentle at all. My voice cracked with a sob. Shh. I'll go slower, okay? Be good. His movements softened, and he kissed away the tears spilling from my eyes. But my legs trembled, tightening around his waist reflexively. Apparently, that flipped a switch in him. I burst into tears. You bastard. Sweetheart, he murmured, covering my eyes. Don't look at me like that. I won't be able to hold back. Absolute animal. When I woke up the next day, it was already afternoon. The moment I saw him, irritation shot through me. You lied! Don't be mad. He pulled me into his arms, grabbed something from the nightstand. I'll put medicine on you. It'll feel better. No. My face went crimson. Be good, he coaxed. If you don't, you'll be in pain again. I'll do it myself. I snatched the ointment from him, flustered. He chuckled. All right. Then whispered something in my ear that made me blush so hard I nearly combusted. What's Jason's deal, anyway? I asked suddenly over lunch. Why'd he carry Julia off yesterday? What do you think? Luke sighed, dropping food into my bowl. Why did I carry you? We're talking about them! Why bring that up? My face burned, flustered again. But the whole first love situation still didn't make sense, nor Jason's past coldness toward Julia. Like I'd know everything in detail. He smirked. All I know is last night he panicked. Panicked? My gossip radar lit up. According to Luke, Jason had been at a party when he saw a video on someone's phone Julia touching a whole row of male models. His face apparently turned pitch black on the spot. He left immediately to storm the bar. And you? Luke added, exasperated. Your laugh was so loud I wanted to jump out the window. What about the first love? Luke couldn't explain clearly, so I went straight to Julia. No way I wasn't getting to the bottom of this. Didn't Jason's brother pass away? That first love was his sister-in-law. I always thought Jason liked her. Turns out he didn't? Nope, Julia grinned, fully back to her love-brained state. His sister-in-law explained everything again. Then why didn't he respond to you before? I asked, confused. We fought in high school once. In my diary, I wrote that I hated him and would get revenge someday. He thought I really hated him. He just wanted to get back at me. You two are unbelievable. What's wrong with your hand? I asked when I noticed her rubbing it constantly. Julia's face flamed bright red. Thinking about what happened with Luke that night, I suddenly understood. Well, as long as everyone's happy. On the day Luke proposed, I watched the drones fill the sky, feeling secretly triumphant. The spectacle, the viral videos, yes, this was my aesthetic. I really am weak for CEO romance tropes. I want a seat at the main table at your wedding, Julia sobbed dramatically. You wouldn't have your CEO without me. Jason held her steady, with a helpless sigh. Please, calm down. The doctor said no emotional extremes. Luke and I shared a look and smiled. Falling in love with the person who makes your heart race is rare. But once it happens, it might just be a lifetime's luck. When fate gives you a chance, every coward has to be brave enough to reach for it. Only then do dreams actually come true.